What's the worst episode of a good TV show ever made? The Breaking Bad episode called Fly. It's gotten a lot of criticism and also praise upon reanalysis over the years, with some people even calling their favorite episode. Those people are trolls. It's bad. I know it. You know it. They knew it. Get episode meant to save money and still keep the number of episodes the same. I understand shows have to do that sometimes, but they always stick out like sore thumbs no matter how well they're done. Fly is certainly very well done, but it's easily the worst episode. The Addams Family episode where Morticia has a successful career as a sculptor. She loves it and makes good money, but Gomer's codependent self gets so jealous and entitled of her time not devoted to himself, and he gaslights her into believing her time away of harming the children. It ends with her proudly declaring motherhood is all women's highest calling. I'm not totally shocked since they are rich one-earth, but it was very painful to watch from beginning to end. T figure out why his equations or some shit isn't working out, and has to keep visualizing electrons and other atoms with food and other stuff, until he discovers electrons act as particles and waves. Every basic college-level physics class explains this, and he, a genius holding several degrees, needs peace to help him have this scientific breakthrough. Pisses me off. The Walking Dead episode that explains why Morgan uses a stick. I wasn't a religious fan of the show like my family, but they convinced me to give it a try, and this is my first episode. I was so bored, they were even embarrassed and begged me to watch the next episode. Every time a character would ask him about the stick, I'd scream at the TV. You don't get him started. Steven Universe is a beloved cartoon that has the occasional real stinker. Candidates for worst episode include House Guest, Say Uncle, or literally any episode featuring Ronaldo heavily Rocknaldo, Rising Tides Crashing Skies, Keep Beach City Weird. My personal least favorite is Rocknaldo because I fucking hate that character so much and he's at his absolute worst there. Okay, the final season of Game of Thrones sucks ass. We all know that. But I think the episode that pissed me off the hardest has got to be Season 5's Unbent, Unbowed, Unbroken. The subject matter at the end was handled so tastelessly. Theon's pain. Really, that I actually stopped watching the show until Season 6. In hindsight, I probably should have kept it that way. The episode of The Office where Michael is trying to sell printers to Dana and keeps trying to kiss her over and over. It just seems crazy out of character for Michael to act that way, and for the other people to not step in more directly because he's clearly harassing her. And then in the end she does have feelings for him. It's just weird. That episode on sex and the city where Samantha dates a black guy. It's super cringe and dated as hell, and you feel so bad for the guy. It really sucks because they had good chemistry. I expected that relationship to last a lot longer than one episode. There is no way this episode would have been made nowadays. I love House ND, watched it twice. The trans youth model episode still feels so odd and out of place, especially when he's been okay with trans people before in the show. Just all of a sudden he's extra edgy and makes a bunch of sexual jokes about a minor just because she's a model. Just so odd even for him. The episode in the final season of the Mary Tyler Moore Show where each of the guys, Lou, Murray and Ted, has a silly stupid daydream about being married to Mary. Figure out what the second worst episode of NTM is, and this one is orders of magnitude worse. Ted Lasso, and the episode where the assistant coach takes drugs and bar hops around the city and stuff. It was like everybody in the cast went on vacation, so he had to do the whole episode by himself. It was weird and unlike any of the other episodes. I mean, I know some of it is necessary to the story, at the stupid Doctor Who episodes with the weird farting aliens who are trying to take over the British government. I cannot stand them, and I will skip the episodes with those aliens every rewatch. Can't stand the darkness and the light from Star Trek DS9. It's reductive for Kira's character, and it makes murdering people in Star Trek look implausibly easy. Plus, when the villain has Kira at his mercy, the day is prenatal vitamins. That one episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine with the board game that they all get sucked into. I hate the bottle episodes, but that one just makes me angry. It's so annoying. That little girl, Ayla Marang, makes my twitch every time I hear it. Probably that episode of The Simpsons where the real Skinner comes back and we learn the Skinner we know is really a guy named Hank Tonzarian. It was the first sign that there were cracks in The Simpsons foundation after 8 iconic seasons. Star Trek The Next Generation Code of Honor. Let's make the planet of the black people as a thing and make them all superstitious, tribal, and stealing the white women. Most of the cast have said they regret making the episode. STTNG Up the Long Ladder. A very cheesy episode with every corny Irish stereotype they could squeeze into the runtime. Like a lot of the lame TNG episodes, this was basically a vehicle to give Riker someone to bone that week. The special episode of Mork and Mindy that features a sexy alien trying to seduce Mork away from his newfound family was pretty damn awful. But I'm sure this will be buried since the episode aired in like 1980. I have only ever been able to sit through Scott's Tots one time in my life. I've watched every other episode no less than 20 times, lol. One of the most cringe-worthy episodes of a goated show I have ever witnessed. Paris breaks warp 10 and changes into different creatures. Then some blob thing at the end. Then is back to normal in the last bit of the episode somehow. I believe the episode is called Threshold. Series finale of Dexter. Felt insanely rushed. Dexter didn't behave the way we as viewers know he would behave, and they just ended it in a terrible way. I was furious. That was 10 years ago, and I'm still furious. I'm sure I'm alone here. But I hated the karate episode of Barry. The thing I liked about Barry was how real it felt, and then for no reason discussed before or after it became a SCIFE show for one episode. I grew up watching Seinfeld, and until recent I had never seen the episode where they're stuck in traffic because of some parade. I can see why it seemingly never was aired on the reruns I watched as a kid. The last episode of Ozark, Ruth was way too smart to let herself be set up and killed like that. Pissed me right off. Such a great character would go down that way and ruin the episode for me. The finale of Him ruined all the character development. They spend the entire series showing why Ted and Robin don't work just to make them get together at the end. Absolutely horrible. The Rick Morty episode Rise of the Numbercons. Just terrible. You could explain to me what they were trying to parody, but I won't care. It was so poorly done and so unnecessary. Scott's Tots. Nothing inherently wrong with the writing of the episode, but the second-hand cringe is so bad. I have to skip it every single time I do a watch-through of The Office. That one episode of Stranger Things where Eleven went to some shit city to hang out with the most stereotypical shit goons that reeked of them playing at a lame spin-off attempt. The final episode of How I Met Your Mother. They couldn't just let people finish their lives happy. They had to make an amazing comedy have a tragic ending. It was messed up. Letterkenny Fartbook. I've had several people quit the show completely just from it. It's one of the first episodes. I had to tell them to watch a few more to get back into it. The Mongolian episode of SG-1. It's one of my favorite series ever. But I have to skip over that one. It's not cheesy bad like the Wormhole Extreme episodes. It's just bad. The horrible Chatterbox episode from The Nanny. I later found out it's something referred to as a backdoor pilot. I still loathe that episode and refuse to watch it. The last episode of The Man in the High Castle. It's almost as if they never planned an ending and just rushed it all in the last 20 minutes. What a waste of a series. The MASH episode where Hawkeye gets a concussion following a Jeep accident and spends the next 30 minutes in some stream of consciousness bullshit with a Korean family. I honestly hated the coma episode potentially plural of Sopranos. I can't stand obvious mental vacations in any TV show or movie. It just feels so pointless. That episode of Smallville with the zombie outbreak was pretty bad and felt like it only existed to capitalize on the popularity of zombie fiction at the time. Popular shows making PSAs very special episodes is very common. But Mother of God. What the fuck was going on when Joss wrote Beer Bad for Buffy? The Netflix seasons of Arrested Development. The Fox seasons were some of the best TV ever. Maybe one to jokes from Netflix can stand next to the Fox seasons. I like it more than most people, but Black Market is a pretty significant low point in the otherwise amazing first two seasons of Battlestar Galactica. The numbers don't know the exact name episode of Rick and Morty, season 7. Holy fuck, I have never seen something so painfully unfunny in my life. Daria had one episode in the last season where Jane starts dating this guy Nathan who's all about retro fashion and lifestyle. It great. The regular show episode where Mordecai watched the anime, it made him brain dead because it gave me a massive headache every time I looked at it. Scott's Tots is up there with being the worst Office episode. But in reality, the subplot of that episode is top tier. Employee of the Month. The episode of 24 where Jack Bauer eats a bad tuna sandwich and spends the entire rest of the episode having to rush to the bathroom. Any fill-in supernatural episode that to be comical or like a here watch this while we get more funding or something. The finale for Ash vs. the Evil Dead. Such a lazy way to end the Bruce Campbell saga. At least without the last 5 minutes it was okay. That one X-Files where Kathy Griffin has an evil doppelganger and Tex Cobb shows up and Mulder gets sucked into a manhole. First episode of the 3rd season of West Wing. Isaac and Ishmael. It premiered like a month after 9/11 and it's good.